What you do first thing in the morning can make or break not only the rest of your day, but maybe the rest of your life. By the way, this is the No Excuses podcast. I'm Ryan Montes. With me, as always, is Alana Banks. And this is the coachiest coaching awesome podcast of awesomeness around. Okay, so we talked about the subject there. We're talking about peak performance states, Alana. And Alana mentioned to me, that she thinks morning routines are really important, and particularly setting an intention when you start your day. Alana, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I disagree vehemently. No, I'm just kidding. I disagree slightly. So let's hear your take on it. Go for it.
Yeah. So back in the day, before I really was thinking about personal development, I would wake up in the morning and I would just kind of roll out of bed, jump in the shower. I would be disgruntled, probably. I would let my kids dictate my day. If they were sick or they were crying or, my husband was in a bad mood, that would just set me up for the day. And I let the external world really control how I was showing up, how I was feeling, what I was thinking about. And when I discovered sort of personal development, or when I really got into it deeply, I learned about creating a morning routine. And I thought, this is something that I would love to do. And I have had many iterations of a morning routine. I'm also not one of those people who wake up at like 3 a.m., but I do get up early. And I start my day in control of me. And what I mean by that is I don't let the external dictate how I'm going to navigate the rest of my day. And as a result, I have created a life for myself where I wake up every morning feeling awesome. I wake up every morning knowing, what I want to do for that day, how I want to feel, what I'm going to think about. And whatever happens around me is just sort of like extra. It's certainly going to have an impact on my life, but, I don't let it control me. And that really comes from my morning routine. So thoughts on that, Ryan?
Okay, I like it. I like it so far.
Okay. Do you want to know more?
What would happen if you didn't? Like, do you ever get up in the morning and you don't do? Okay, wait, hold on. Put that question on hold because we're going to come to that. What is your morning routine? What do you do?
Okay. My alarm goes off at 5:55 every morning. And I specifically pick that time because I believe in numbers. And that number for me is just like, it's a magic number for me. So I just love seeing that. And I spend about kind of 5 minutes just waking up. And then I jump on a call at 6 a.m. I jump on a call in a group coaching container, and she talks about all sorts of things. It's basically a study. It's a study call. And I lie there and listen to it. I'm not going to lie and say that I get up and get my journal out and start taking notes, but I choose to lie there and listen to the conversation, look at the chat, add whatever I want to add. But that gets me in a state of just thinking about interesting things. And we talk a lot about like self-image and goal setting and what do you want, and, expanding your awareness around, different topics. In fact, this week we're talking about money. It really puts me into a great position. Anyway, when that call ends at 7 o'clock, I then do a meditation. And I don't have a specific meditation that I do every morning. It's sort of whatever is coming to me. So whatever I'm feeling, like if I feel like I need to have a meditation around like receiving, or I need to have a meditation around self-worth, whatever, I honestly just Google it on YouTube. And I find one that's like no longer than 10 minutes. And I do a meditation, and then I just set an intention for the day when I'm in the shower. So like I do my 10-minute meditation, and then I'm up, I hop in the shower. And while I'm in the shower, my brain has already been stimulated. So a lot of things come to me while I'm in there. And I am the kind of person who acts on intuition. So a lot of times the things that are coming to me in the shower are the things that I'm going to do that day. And then, I have 2 kids. So at that point I have to get them up, do the whole make lunches, breakfast, get them off to school. But I'm well on my way at that point, and I'm ready to hit the ground running when they walk out the door or I drop them off at school or whatever that might be. And so that's my morning routine.
Cool. Okay. I like your morning routine. Like your morning routine.
Thank you, Ryan.
So far, so far. And what do you think? What do you feel like? Why is this important? What does this enable you to do? Having this routine, particularly this routine of starting off, like literally, like your conscious mind turns on and you're straight into personal development content, which I think actually is pretty cool. What does this do for you?
Yeah, well, it just gets me into that mindset that I'm creating my life. I'm creating my reality. I get to choose, what I want to think about, how I want to feel, what things that I want to do. And for me, why that's really important is personally, this works for me because I work alone, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I work alone. I'm at home. And I find that this sense of community, because there's about 60 to 70 people on these calls in the morning, these people, along with others, other community, I'm part of other communities as well, but they've almost become my colleagues in a way. So it's almost like it's like a breakfast meeting. That's the way I look at it. I look at this morning routine that I have as like a breakfast meeting because it also allows me to get some things off my chest. It allows me to like tap into like what's going on for me right now, what's blocking me, what's challenging me so that I can address those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just really gets me into the right frame of mind and so that I can move into my day of meeting with clients or doing whatever, going on other calls or doing whatever it is I need to do.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. So, I've kind of been on and off the morning routine bandwagon for a number of years. And like, I used to go to the gym in the morning or meditate or all these different things. I used to like for a while, I had this routine of like writing out my morning routine the night before, and I'm going to do this and check it all off. And, there is a lot of value in it. There is a lot of value in it. And what I do these days is none of that, basically. I've kind of moved away from all of it because, and we can differ on this if we need to, because to me, it started to feel like a chore and a crutch. It started to feel like a chore and a crutch to have this like sequence of things that I must do every morning to set myself up for success. And, and I actually heard somebody kind of not reiterate, but reflect that recently. This guy, Alex Hormozy, which, I've been mentioning him a lot lately, only because he's somebody who I've been consuming a lot of his content lately. And he said, well, when you have these routines that build success for you, what happens when something interrupts the routine? Does it then interrupt your success? And that was something I had thought about. Like, before, can I just get up and do whatever and still have the drive and still have the motivation and still have the, discipline to do the things I need to do to build my business and serve my people and all that good stuff. So where I've kind of landed now is I don't think, I don't consciously or hyper specifically have a morning routine, although humans are animals of habit. So I do get up around the same time every day. I do the same kind of thing and then just naturally move into what I do for the day. And so while I don't have a traditional morning routine anymore, I do have a routine of consistency, right? Which I do think is important. And it's sort of just developed and evolved on its own to be what it is now, right? So
yeah. Question for you. I think, I'm wondering if you're able to get to this place because you went through all those iterations of having that morning routine for a bit.
Yeah.
So, because I'm with you, my morning routine is right now is very fixed because I'm part of this program, right? I'm paying to be part of this program.
Yeah.
But at some point that is going to end for me. And I'm probably going to find something else because like, as you said, I don't want it to become a crutch.
Yeah.
I used to get up and go for a run every morning, but I ended up slipping a disc and I can't do that anymore. But I'm going to get back to a point where I'm going to be able to do that again. And so I think what I'm hearing here is the morning routine is what gives you that consistency, that discipline that's going to, get into a successful life, and you can allow it to be fluid.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably a good point. Like for a long time, I had that kind of rigid or fixed morning routine, and now I don't. But now I'm also very disciplined. Monday to Friday from X hour in the morning till X hour in the afternoon, I'm in my office getting done what I need to get done without question. Without question, unless I'm consciously making an exception to go handle an errand or something like that. So it's almost as if like all that stuff that used to be the conscious morning routine has dissolved and been replaced by just a working productivity routine that's almost totally unconscious. Monday to Friday, I get up around the same time, and then I work all day and all afternoon because I love working. And, I sometimes have to stop myself from working more. And now it's working for me. But there was a time in my life where I didn't have that level of automatic discipline and that, daily fixed 2 or 3 things. And I used to meditate, exercise, journal. Like there's like a dozen productivity things that every entrepreneur like chooses 3 or 4, and that becomes their morning routine when they finally buckle down and make a morning routine, right? And so, yeah, just here's where I wound up. But you're right. There was great value in having a specific productivity routine in the morning to start the day. And I think that's one of the big points, and you wrote it in the topic for our podcast here, is starting your day with intention. When I wake up, and it's between Monday and Friday, when I wake up at a certain time, I know in my mind it's a work day. Today I'm going to sit down. Today I'm going to connect with who I need to connect with. I'm going to do work stuff. There's no question about that intention in my mind. And then, because of that, my results reflect that. There's no ambivalence. There's no incongruity. When it's time to work, it's time to work, right?
Yeah. And, and that's what I think a morning routine does for you. It puts you in the driver's seat of your day. So I can remember a time when I was not in the driver's seat, and I would press snooze 3, 4 times. And, I would let this sort of like negative talk go on in my head, like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Oh, well, I'm not really feeling that great today, so I'm not going to do that. And, it would just set me up for failure or for an unsuccessful day, because I wasn't getting up being like, no, today is a work day. This is what I do on work days, or I've committed to this program. And so like, it's allowed me to get up. But before that, I was still getting up and like doing my own version of a morning routine. But I think what it is, it's just setting you up for success. It's getting you disciplined. It's allowing you to be consistent. It's taking control of your day, of your life, what you want, right? Which is what we are always talking about.
Okay, I'm convinced that we should officially, at the No Excuses podcast, endorse people having morning routines. How do they do it? What would you recommend? For somebody who is ready to step into a morning routine, on the caveat that, remember, folks, it's allowed to develop. When you step into a morning routine, you're not committed to it forever until you die, right? Like me.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What should people start doing tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I think, really committing to a time. So decide, like, what time are you going to wake up? And when you wake up, get up. That's something that I think Bob Proctor always used to say, but he would say, when I wake up, I get up. Set the alarm and don't hit the snooze button. And if you need to put it like, across the room so that you have to get up to turn it off, do that. So I think that's the most important thing, is set a wake up time. And then maybe just pick one thing to start, because, if you don't have a morning routine, it might be overwhelming to have like journal, meditate, go for a walk, like all these things. Maybe it's just like you're going to set your alarm for 6:30 and you're going to go for a walk for 20 minutes. Or maybe it's, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to just journal, if that's your thing. Or I'm going to wake up and do like some yoga stretches. Or, I would say just start small and then build on top of that. And see what works for you, what feels good and what doesn't feel like a chore, because then you're just not going to do it.
Yeah. I like it. And let it evolve. But it starts with, it has to start with getting up. And what is the first thing you do, when you get up? Like for me, if I were to describe a morning routine, I get up, brush my teeth, whatever. But the first thing I do is make coffee. Right? I'll make a cup of coffee and then I'll sit down at my desk. That's the first location I go to. And, usually I'll hop on YouTube and watch something semi-productive to like kind of get the day going. And then I'm off running, right? And it can be as simple as that. But, until you're at that point where you have the discipline just happening automatically, I would go more with an Alana style of morning routine, something specific, and then build on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
See what feels good.
And one thing, don't look at your phone.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a habit that a lot of people get into. They get up, they grab their phone, they go through their various, social media platforms. And that's putting information into your brain that is not necessarily going to set you up for success, depending on who you're following. But that may get your negative thoughts, negative talk, negative feelings started right in the morning. And you have to remember too, we're in like a trance state when we wake up in the morning, right? We're not fully awake yet. So our mind is open to receiving a lot of really bad information. And if you're just rolling over, grabbing your phone and immediately going on Instagram, that is not a good way to set you up for success. I'll just say that.
Not ideal in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So cool. Avoid the temptation. Get up, do your 20-minute walk, do your yoga, do whatever it is you've set up to do. And then, sure, grab your phone and check out who liked your latest post or whatever. But don't make that become your first go-to. Yeah.
Agreed. We can agree on that. Okay. Well, I think that covers it for this one. If for those of you that are listening, if you're not thoroughly convinced yet about the importance of some routine, especially morning routine, just go back and listen to the entire podcast again and again and again until you are convinced, right? Or whatever, or send me a message on why I'm wrong. Send Alana a message why we're wrong. Either way. Okay, so if you need to find me, I'm at Ryan Montes NLP on Instagram. I'm ryanmontes.com. Alana, where can they find you?
Yeah, and you can find me on Instagram at Alana Banks Coaching.
Cool.
And that's all for today.
That's it for today. If you want coaching, go to Alana. If you want to get better or learn coaching, come to Ryan. And that's going to be it for this one. Thanks, Alana.
Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.